Welcome back, Indie Game Fanatics, to our continuing Let's Play of The Rootrees Are Dead. I had way too much fun last night playing this. Well, not night, but it was afternoon when I got home from work. But we are jumping back into it to continue with solving this mystery. I believe most of the evidence we have right now are photos. And we were last looking into, yeah, this is the generation of the older generation, where we were able to, based off of the name of the candies, guess at most of the names. The only one I'm not sure of is this one. Because if I remember correctly, not that piece of evidence. It was... where is it? This one. So E is for elderberry. And when it comes to root trees, the problem is there are multiple E starting names in the root tree families. Edward, Elias, Elias, and Elias. It's more than likely one of the Eliases, either C or M. I just have no idea which one it's going to be yet, so we'll have to get some more clues. Otherwise, we've guessed the rest of the names. And, yeah, so let's continue to try and solve this mystery. We were working on this one last. That's him on the left. It was taken in 1935 to celebrate the move to the new warehouse that Eli Jr. designed. So it's entirely possible that it's Elias Jr. in that picture, but we don't know yet. Angie and I both wanted to be in the photo since Miracle was in it. And the three of us were all about the same age. Wait a second. Eventually, I suppose to stop the tantrums, they posed us in front of the camera with Mr. Morden, who was there with Aunt Gwendoline. I found out years later that they never even took a second photo. This is a lot of useful information right here. Just save that. So we know that Lauren, Miracle, and Angie the same age. So Lauren, Miracle, and then there's another kid named Angie that would be in this same generation here. Mr. Morden, who was there with Aunt Gwendoline. So that's probably who her husband was Morden. Which, so here's the problem. Is that Gwendoline Rootree's descendants would be under Morden's. I don't know which one it would be. There's multiple male Mordens, right? James and Zachariah. So I'm not sure where the Mordens would come in there. But this will be very helpful later. Alright, what is this one? This photo has a note attached from your employer. Every 20 or so years, the Rootrees would hold a big reunion and recreate an old family photo. This is one from the 70s. Carl's the teenager in the middle. So that would be Carl. Another picture of him. Yeah, you can see the resemblance. Sorry about the water damage. A pipe burst in Carl's orifice. On the back of the photo, in childish print writing, it says November. So I gotta go through and we're gonna collect all the images. That's gonna be the miracles. 2 of the miracles over here. It looks like maybe Miracle and then Miracle Jr. Based off of the... actually, no. He also wears the rainbow. Because he's older. So that would put him... Like, I would think he would be him. Because he's closer to Miracle the Third's image. I don't know. Anyways... There are also a large number of cursive signatures. They include Bonnie, next President Guy Hudson, Ernie Jr., Caroline, Gwyneth M., Gwendoline, Miracle Jr., Jim Roottree, or James, Clark, Carl, and Eli M. Okay. This is the next generation. An attempt to recapture the spirit of the 5-piece photo with our generation. For old time's sake, we gathered on the warehouse floor. I wanted Eli to stand all the way on the left. Since to me, he looked a lot like Pop did in the old one. But I was outvoted by my brothers. They insisted the 4 of us stand together. So maybe these 4. And so we clumped in the middle. And let everyone filter in behind and in front of us. The only one too good to make an appearance was Gwen. Grandma insisted we include Sam even if he didn't want to. Even if we didn't want to. None of us understood why, including Sam. I also didn't think it fair Miracle made it in, since he's technically a 5-piece. I guess my inner child still holds a grudge even after all these years. So that's another picture of Miracle. So we finally got a picture of Miracle. Which one of these do you think is Lauren? We got a picture of her here. I would guess this one? It's hard to tell because the other image is black and white. And then Sam would have been of the younger generation, so Sam's somewhere in this generation. Not enough info there. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I've run into another roadblock where I'm not sure of something, and I don't really have any more information to run on. The other thing we could do is just start looking up names of people to try and get information. Like, Miracle Roottree, we could search him. Nothing. So that's part of the problem, is you have to find people. Elias Jr. would make sense if he was the son of Elias. Elias Jr. I'm curious if it's designed so that if it's spelt like this, nothing comes up. But if we do... that's not what I was trying to do, game. Frickin'. No. Okay. So that's not going to be a way to really figure out much, apparently. I guess only the ones with stars, like notable ones, would be the ones that are easy to find online. Yeah, the rest won't really be as a means of figuring out who they are. Is there any evidence that I'm maybe missing on? Family trees use surnames from birth, even if the person changed their last name after marriage. Always use a person's most recent occupation. Gwen and the boys. Picture of the free spirits out of frame. So that's not a picture of the free spirits. This is the free spirits. So this is that lower generation. If this is the free spirits, then that has to be Miracle, the younger one. That would have to be the third generation. Right? 5-piece, the free spirits would be this one. So James would be in there. Carl is in there. Let's look for James. I can't tell from these pictures. Bonnie, next person, Ernie Jr. Yeah, see, he's included, but I don't know. I think I'm going to use a clue, guys. I don't want to, but I think I'm going to. We're only halfway through this episode, so I need a clue. If you're completely stuck, try talking it through with your rubber duck. You have unseen evidence. You should definitely look that first. What do I mean I have unseen evidence? Is there like another page that I'm not aware of? Oh. Okay. I did not realize this. Okay. So an entry entitled Complaints from Lauren Roottree's diary. Written in 1953, this entry seems to focus specifically on one of Lauren's family members, Gwen, who is on the notable tree. So we are talking about Gwen, the actor, who is of the same generation as Lauren. It seems everyone has something to complain about. Gwen, as an only child, complained of loneliness. I told her that being expected to watch after 3 younger brothers didn't feel like a blessing, but it fell on deaf ears. So Lauren has 3 younger brothers, so these are all boys, which is how the Roottree name carried on all the way down here. So we got a lot of Rootrees in this branch. During the summer where I went to stay with her and Aunt Margot. So Gwen's mother is Margot. Argolite, Roottree. We've got that information. I hoped she would be the sister I never had and that I'd do the same for her. I even tried to dye my hair blonde to fit in with the two of them. What a mess. But she just complains to her I was the lucky cousin. Now she's off living the glamorous life while I'm stuck here with Clark. Who's Clark? I must admit seeing her everywhere contributes to my unhappiness. Her visage stares at me even now. From my coffee table, she gets to be in Starlit. What's Starlit? Starlit was a magazine that started with the colorization of film and went until around 1964. Generally, it was a tabloid with a focus on famous actors and actresses. It didn't much go into any other aspects of filmmaking or Hollywood news. So we're talking about Gwyn Roottree, Gwynn, in Starlit. Is that how you spell that? I honestly am not sure. Gwynn. Alright, Gwyn Roottree was often in Starlit. Most mentions were around the time of her divorce in 1958 from Wild Bill Williams. What? How is Wild Bill or Williams not known at all? Not even a Will or a Bill. I guess that's his fake name. The gossip is speculative and full of tabloid stereotypes. Some of it focuses on the fact that when she announced her divorce, she also announced she was pregnant again. Other mention that the rumor is Wild Bill had multiple affairs which left her heartbroken. There's also an interview from earlier in mid-1957 where she was asked about her last name. She answered, "The power of a name is undeniable. My grandfather consistently preached the importance of family names and honoring them. My father decided to bless me with a famous name. There's nothing wrong with Cornwall, but Roottree has power. My husband similarly goes by Wild Bill, so Cornwall would have been his last name. The Linus Cornwall. It's an infamous name he repurposed for himself because he didn't have the benefit of being born with a famous one. But Wild combined with the alliteration Williams is incredibly memorable. Although we've relocated to Paris, I know your readers love to keep up with my husband, so consider this a Starlit exclusive about both of us. Wild Bill and I have a child on the way, and we're sticking with Roottree for the name, not Williams. We also plan to lean into alliteration. That's how we'll honor both our family names for the next generation. So, Gwyn and the boys, those would be her sons then. Which I'm guessing are these two? And it's because they split up that she ended up down here? I still don't understand this part of the tree. Can anybody please explain to me what this is? Like, how this works? But we do know the kids' names, they're going to stick with Roottree. And they're going to stick with alliteration of Roottree. So it's probably Robert and Ronald Roottree would be my guess for alliteration. Is going to be your kids' names are Robert and Ronald. Because they like the alliteration of it. Unfortunately, I don't know which one's which, so we're going to have to leave that there. Yeah. Alright, back to the evidence. Alright. And tell tales of how she gallivants around the world, kissing the likes of Harrison Lane and Wild Bill Williams. She's the first Roottree woman to be anything other than a housewife. So that said, but she's an author. So that would mean her mother was a housewife. And that would mean that Gwendoline Roottree was a housewife. So that fills those in. And it's entirely possible that if any of these are girls, they would be housewives as well. If she was the first to be anything other than. Possibly. And also we have the pictures of the five. Right? The 5-piece pictures. Which are these black and white photos. So we can figure out which one is the mother potentially. If it's this one or this one. But we need one more person's information to be filled in order to see if that will lock in. And currently we don't have any others. They're not locked in that have all three things. I'm going to assume because of the blonde hair that this would be her mother. Marguerite Roottree, housewife. That makes sense to me. And then we have Miracle Roottree, the preacher. The reason we have his photo is from this one here, where he was in the back. So that would be the other Roottree kid. He would be this one. Yeah, this little tyke. And then why did the other picture not stick? It was this image. Right? Which is used elsewhere. That's his dad. I'm looking for this one. I don't see. Oh, it's right here. Okay. Okay. I got distracted by the housewife. If I were not a single mother, could I make my own way in this world? Oh, because her husband died. That's right. But I'm off topic. A girl with all the luck in the world was jealous of me. And now, though I've been undoubtedly burned by terrible tragedy, I'm also lucky to be born into a family that can support me for eternity. I can raise a child without worry, unlike countless other widows. If any of them were to hear me complaining, they would rightfully scoff, just like I do at Gwen. Here's the thing, the grass is always greener on the other side. Being jealous of relatives is a very common thing to feel, as if other people have it better off than you. The vast majority of human beings struggle with those emotions. Alright. Entry entitled Dynasty from Lauren Rootree's diary, written in 1958. So here's 5 years later. It focuses on the day her grandfather Elias announced he would step down as president of the Roottree Company and the meeting to determine his successor. I wish I had been on a fly on the wall today. Clancy told me that everyone got quite heated. Granddad was furious none of his sons would take over as president, but that's what he gets for holding on to it for so long. With architects, preachers, and lawyers, nobody got time for candy. Right. Archer, preacher, and lawyer. So we know he's a lawyer, we know he's a preacher, so the other son would be architect. I just don't know his name yet. I'm assuming it's Elias Jr., but we're not sure of that yet. Let's assume that. Let's do that leap in logic for now. And then we're gonna leap in logic and make him there. Got it.
You're listening to
It's time for your headlines. Once an hour, every hour, on the 45. It's a bizarre development to an already tragic tale. In the wake of the accident that took his life, some of Carl Roottree's belongings have apparently gone missing. Most notably, a framed photo of the Roottree family from the mid-1970s that Carl had on his office wall. We interviewed a local psychologist about who would do such a thing and why. For that article, search online for WRTD News. Again, that's
WRTD News. WRTD News is your local investigative jazz radio station. It's a beautiful station, I must say. During their news segment at 45 minutes on the hour, they have been talking about the plane crash. This most recent hour, they also talked about a picture taken from Carl's office after the plane crash and promised an interview online with a psychologist. During the interview, it's revealed there wasn't a break-in. Instead, someone with a key to the office took the picture after discovering the pipes burst due to the recent storm. This means it was likely someone close to the family who was aware of the photo's history and wanted to save it. The psychologist, however, also goes on to posit. The culprit had an alternative agenda, specifically because nobody in the family has come forward to say they have it in their possession. A comment below the article says, "Don't believe their lies. This is just another instance of the Roottree curse being a real, true thing. I bet you Carl was murdered and the picture had evidence on it." Huh. Is this actually a murder mystery? No idea. Also, this means that Miracle is also this little kid with the eye patch. So is he potentially blind in one eye, and that's why he's wearing the shades in the older picture of him? Interesting thing to think about. We've also locked down almost all of the Roottrees. That would be the last one, Gwendoline Roottree, housewife. So if we get 2 more, then we will reach the next goal. Alright, let's continue with dissecting this journal. We've only got a minute left here, so let's see what we can learn. Nobody's got time for candy, so with the 5 pieces refusing to step up, it came down to us next gens. Pop argued at length that the company should stay with our branch of the family since we still have the Roottree name. I'm not even sure Clancy would have wanted it, but he's the one who was volunteered. What? So Clancy would be one of her brothers then. Maybe that's Carl's father? But why would he be the Carl be the 5th president then? If he held on to it for so long, from this generation to this one, it jumped hands a lot then. Maybe it was the curse, as they put it. Maybe he had it and then died quickly afterwards. Not sure. Instead, it ended up going to Zach, even though his surname doesn't match the candy. He's the firstborn son of the firstborn 5-piece. So, Zach. Ooh, Morden or Wilson? That's the question. I'm gonna guess Wilson, because Mordens, I think, are somewhere else on the tree. I thought. So I'm gonna guess Wilson for now. I'm not sure how that's relevant to running a company, but Granddad has always had very particular views on when it comes to his bloodline. I asked Clancy if it ever came up that a woman could take over. After all, Angie's older than Zach. And I'm next oldest of us all. So Zach actually would not be this one. Angie would be, right? So Zach would be possibly that one. And then Angie. Angelica Morden. So it would be a Morden then. And that would make him a Morden. James Morden. So James Morden, Angelica Morden, and Zachariah Morden would be, this family would become the Morden branches. There will be more Mordens down here, but they would both be females. We know that because there's Caroline and Gwendoline Morden. So Gwendoline Morden would be named after the grandmother, and then Caroline as well. We don't know yet which of these two would be which, but that's good reasoning on my part. He just laughed. I'll never forget the cuss words Pop used when he told Ma it wouldn't go to us. Mother, ever the quick-witted, at least with catty remarks, countered back. Maybe they wanted it to go to the only member of the family who looks like he samples the That would suggest that Zach is this one. Because that's part of Lauren's generation, if I'm remembering correctly. Let's look at the evidence. Yeah, the next generation. This is the next generation. And so that would be Zach on the far left. If I remember correctly, it was mentioned somewhere about it being Zach. The left, but I was outvoted by my brothers. They insisted the four of us stand together, and so we clumped in the middle. No, okay. They just mentioned Miracle. Grim insisted we include Sam. Who is Sam? He's not one of the Miracles, so he's one of these three. I'm guessing the middle one is Sam? Not sure. But it would make sense that this is Zachary, and he would have been the second president then. That's probably why there's a curse. Like, if he was second president, he died, then it went to another one in that generation, they died, then it went to another one, they died, and then Carl took over and he died. That's pretty wild. Alright, so we got this one guess, and we need one more to see if we can lock in these two answers on this family tree here. I've got to run, unfortunately, and we're out of time anyways, but we are going to pick up here. Yeah. Yeah, so we're going to leave off here. We're going to pick up next time with 1963 and Sam and see what we can learn more from the A Life Between Wars excerpts from the Diaries of a Roottree. So yeah, that's it, guys. Hope you all have a good one. I'll see you again tomorrow.